Hi, I'm GameFan, and this is my first guide for Media in Excel 2.0. The Neutral Paladin, or the Neutralidin for short, is one of my favorite, if not my most favorite builds in the game. The playstyle is simple, easy to get into, but with a bit of learning and paying attention to small details like enemy casts and your attacks and whatever, you will be rewarded with a character with high boss damage, good area damage and fast at clearing rifts, high sustain, having two different regeneration skills, which together go above 1.5k HP per second. Huge defense, easily achieving 50% physical resistance without needing to use any skills or buffs to keep that physical resistance up. And it is a spell-based build, meaning you don't rely on weapon enhanced damage, and it has a great potential to scale. The leveling is rather fast, even with just like one or two uniques. The Vindicatress is a must-have. It basically gives everything what we need. Skill levels, physical magical spell damage, energy, some fire resist, and reanimate, which can be a meat shield taking up some of the damage that you would take. Focusing on the Vessel of Retribution, Absolution, and Ward of Fate will let you fly through the campaign with ease. If you want to feel extra safe while going through Nightmare and Hell, you could also get an X3 Necrolite Mercenary with some basic tier uniques focusing on survivability over damage. After level 60, he can bring in some great damage reduction skills, which are far more than enough to keep you alive at all times if you're not confident in your own sustain. When you get to level 90, you'll get access to Divine Apparition. This is a great tool both to engage and escape, or just making your runs faster in general. The low cooldown make this skill an extra offensive player to your already large amount of recovery. Until then, getting a Pax Mystica on weapon swap is great for using teleportation. From your ultimate skills, Resurrection will be your only choice, the reason being other skills require holy or unholy devotion. Using this early doesn't necessarily feel that good, but in mid or high dungeons the resurrectable monsters become more tanky, and higher skill level gives more HP, which will come handy since being around these revenants also increases your damage done by a ton. Not even mentioning the fact that they can be also used as meat shields, further increasing the value of your damage. Gear options: Enchanted and Eerie Shrine crafted gear is a good early option, paired with perfect topaz in the sockets for great amounts of energy, or Tile runes for just the direct physical magical spell damage. Important stats for crafted or rare gear should be all or paladin skill levels, physical spell damage, energy percent, life, resist. If you play multiplayer, getting the neutral set might be easier, but they're relatively easy to come by in single player too. It gives good amounts of damage and utility, such as 250 all stats with a full set, and 200% Vindicate duration, which is one of our basic regen abilities. Options for each slot, starting with the weapon. A tier 4 Vindicatress can carry you a very long way, probably best in slot before getting an endgame scepter like Dead Lake's Lady. This should be your main weapon. All skills, physical, spell damage, energy, perfect item. Alternatively, getting an Ori's Herald could be good instead of the Dead Lake's Lady, but it requires 5 Taganze runes, which might be hard to come by. Don't forget to get an Oil of Conjuration from Act 5 side areas, as it has a 40% chance to give 10% extra spell damage. For the helmet, early, having an all-seeing eye is decent enough choice. When you get to craft items, a paladin helm with plus 4 paladin skills, physical spell damage, energy, and vitality will do wonders until you get the set helm, which is my favorite choice here. Chest piece, Dragon's Blood is the absolute best in slot in the tier uniques with some life on demon kill, it giving extra sustain. Crafted chest piece with plus 2 all skills, 3 to 400 life, physical spell damage and resist is the best before getting your set chest piece. For the leveling, using a pair of honorific gloves to fix resist stats is the way I would go. Crafted, your shrine crafted gloves should be physical spell damage, stats and resist, possibly max life. For the set gloves, make sure it has a plus 1 to paladin skill levels as it can roll from 1 to 0. For the belt, you could use a moon wrap, it has some percent damage, cold and lightning res, but if you can afford it, I would also go with an honorific here purely for the resist and stat fixes. Using a true rune word for some physical resist is an option, but it is not easy to come by jaw runes while gearing up. For crafted, you should look for plus 2 paladin skills, physical spell damage, resist and life. An alternative to the set belt could be Ashira's armor with physical resist, energy percent, or even a lunar eclipse, although this one is an SSU, meaning you can only get it from level 119 plus zones and is also more rare. For the boots, Wake of Destruction offers great stats such as energy, decent physical spell damage, and minus requirements, making it easier to use. Crafted boots should have higher movement speed, try to aim for as close to 40% as possible. Physical spell damage, resists energy and life. Late game option should also include Spirit Walker, great for high damage with 35% physical spell damage, +2 to all skills, and good defense with physical resist if you're missing some. But this one is an SSU as well, meaning it's harder to come by. I used this shield for the leveling because it gives good resists and even life on melee attacks, which is good for some extra sustain. But you can also use this shield, which is a more offensive option, giving up to +3 paladin skills and even some magic find. While crafting, you should aim for a +2 paladin skills, life, physical spell damage, energy, and resist. Paladin shields can also roll a level 1 bear stance, which further boosts your physical resistance. A very high damage but also late game option should be the SSU shield, the Collector. This gives a +1 all skill, 8% physical spell damage for each great and special rune in it, meaning up to +6 all skills and almost 50% physical spell damage. Some basic +1 all skill rare rings is relatively easy, customizing it with mystic orbs as needed. For the endgame, getting something like the Seal of Nephilim Kings with +2 all skills roll, and an extra +1 all skills from the lottery upgrade with Spirit Transfer is probably the best in slot, or an Adrenaline Rush with the lottery upgrade. But these are sacred rings, so it's absolutely late game. The Ring of Rega with lottery is much easier to get, thanks for it being a really common drop. Also, the 0 level requirement makes it very easy to Mystic Orbs as you need it, if you get that +1 lucky all skills. For the amulets, some basic +3 all skills with physical spell damage will do, until you don't find the absolute best in slot for this build, which is the Vizjeray's necklace, giving you everything you need. A +1 all skills with Oil of Luck, which should be Oil of Greater Luck with 40% upgrade chance, physical spell damage, energy percent, and even some life on each life on kill. For the super min-maxing late game stuff. For the unique rings, getting Spirit Transfer with a +1 all skill, using the Idol of Vanity on a unique or set armor for 5% max HP. These upgrades have a 3% chance. Make sure your items don't have the already upgraded text on them, because that will make this recipe unavailable for you. For Mystic Orbs, I would use physical spell damage, then fixing resistances, then getting faster hit recovery on armor to get the 86 faster hit recovery breakpoint. Then stats, if needed any, which I wouldn't use, I would just use Signets of Learning, and then using the rest as miscellaneous stats such as Magic Find or EXP percent on the weapon. For the skill order, maxing Vessel of Retribution, then Solstice and Equinox, Ward of Fate, Valiance, Specialization, Blessed Life until you have 50% physical resistance with gear, Veneration of Justice, Purity, Endurance. These depend on what you need. And putting 1 point into Absolution, Reverence, Divine Apparition, Resurrect, Servants of Valor, and Conclave. These are early summon options. A very important note is don't to get melee devotion, because you won't be able to use Absolution, which is your main damage source. Thank you for watching this quick Paladin build guide.